Published 2100 EDT, the 7th of September 2017. Updated 2103 EDT, the 7th of September 2017. Israel's intelligence agency Mossad missed at least 2 chances to capture infamous Nazi fugitive Dr. Josef Mengele, who sent hundreds of thousands of Jews to their death at Auschwitz. A former agent has revealed Israel's intelligence agency Mossad missed at least 2 chances to capture infamous Nazi fugitive Dr. Josef Mengele, who sent hundreds of thousands of Jews to their death at Auschwitz, a former agent has revealed. Rafi Eaton, who commanded the audacious capture in 1960 of top Nazi Adolf Eichmann in Argentina, said that during the hunt he and his team discovered Mengele's hideout. At the same time as we caught Eichmann, Mengele was living in Buenos Aires. We found his apartment and kept it under observation, he told Israeli public radio as the spy agency declassified its file on operations against the man known to prisoners as the Angel of Death. Yediot Ahronoth newspaper, citing the newly available material, said that Mengele, as chief medical officer at Auschwitz, had sent hundreds of thousands of Jews to the gas chambers with a wave of his hand. He also directed shocking medical experiments on prisoners, it wrote. Eaton, 90, said that while the Mossad had Eichmann in a safe house ahead of smuggling him out of Buenos Aires in an El Al plane, the agency's chief, Isar Harel, wanted them to move against Mengele as well, but he argued against the plan. I didn't want to carry out 2 operations at the same time because we had one successful operation in the bag, and in my experience if you try to carry out another one you put them both at risk, Eaton said. As a compromise he stayed on in Argentina to keep tabs on Mengele, while his teammates took Eichmann, as the main architect of the Nazi Holocaust, back to Israel, where he was later tried and hanged. Mengele wasn't at home and the neighbors said he would be back in a week, Eaton continued. We waited a week, but in the meantime his Eichmann's capture was announced to the world and Mengele never returned to his apartment in Buenos Aires. Some of the diaries of feared Nazi war criminal Dr. Josef Mengele, the so-called Angel of Death who carried out gruesome medical experiments at Auschwitz. The Mossad team missed him again when he was spotted in Brazil, Eaton added. At the end of 1962 Mengele was positively identified at a farm near Sao Paulo. But Mossad chief Isar Harel resigned early the next year and his successors did not approve an operation against Mengele as they had other priorities around the world, he said. Yediot's Ronan Bergman told Israeli Army Radio in an interview that the Mossad files revealed some embarrassing slips, such operatives looking for Mengele for a large part of the time in Paraguay when in fact he wasn't there, but actually in Brazil. He wrote in the paper that there was also a costly 1983 operation in West Berlin to bug and follow Mengele's son Rolf in the hope that he would lead agents to his father. Mossad also deployed an intelligent and attractive female agent posing as a private secretary to try and get close to Rolf and pry information from him, he wrote, but without success. He quoted the Mossad archive as listing another plan, not implemented, where a caller claiming to be a close friend of Mengele would call Rolf and tell him that his father was gravely ill and he should go to him at once. This photograph shows a group of gypsy children who were subjects of Dr. Josef Mengele's research at Auschwitz between 1943 and 1945. Unknown to the Mossad, Josef Mengele had died in a drowning accident in Brazil in 1979. His death was only confirmed in 1985, after his body was exhumed. Mengele was a notorious member of the team of doctors responsible for choosing who would be selected for the gas chambers and who would suffer deadly experiments. He had an obsession with twins, killing the majority of his victims in macabre experiments he claimed were meant to test the limits of human endurance. He injected blue dye into the eyes of children, starved babies to death to see how long they could live without food, amputated body parts and transplanted organs without anesthetic. In all, he was responsible for millions of Jewish deaths, more than any other concentration camp officer, which was why he was nicknamed the Angel of Death. Group of SS officers in Auschwitz from left, Karl Hocher, Dr. Josef Mengele, Karl Friedrich Hocher. Sorry, we are not currently accepting comments on this article.